Hello, everybody, and welcome to the New Earth AC. Myself and Bonnie Bird are co-hosts today, and we are going to be bringing on somebody today to talk about a unity circle that they're going to be bringing on through the New Earth. So, Bonnie, would you like to say hi first before I introduce our lovely lady that's waiting in the waiting room?
I just want to say hi to everybody, and I'm really excited about these new classes that we're bringing out here into the new earth and the new teachers. It's going to be so much fun. And yeah, let's get started. Let's bring Ritza out here and play.
Okay, so Rita, she has a background in stage and indie film, dance, and lecture performance on Middle Eastern dance. Rita is an adventurer who's traveled across the US on a shoestring budget. Influenced by wonderful artists through a job at an international gallery job, Rita got another shot of the creative bug. In summer of 2013, she was inspired by spirit to draw and create her own colorful world of Southwest characters based on whimsical imagings. Ritza has always been interested in science, energy, and how we get what we get. What's really going on? How does this play out in what we take for granted, from getting dressed in the morning to creating art? How are our thoughts things? Is this everyday magic? Let's start the conversation. So I'm going to bring on the lady herself that she wrote that, and it's absolutely amazing. So this is Ritza Elizabeth.
Hello.
Hello, Rita.
Hi, Ritza.
Hi. Um,
Welcome.
I
Welcome.
thank you. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Bonnie. I'm very excited and just looking forward to our adventure together.
Yeah. So what's happening is Ritza's going to be doing what we call a unity circle. We used to call them workshops, but we've decided to change the way we use our words in the New Earth Ascending Consciousness. And so we decided that we were going to start calling the workshops unity circles. And so on October 19th, Ritza is going to come on and she's going to do a everyday magic unity circle. So Ritza, what is this unity circle going to be like? Like, what is your idea around it? You've got so many ideas about it. Can you tell us from your?
Thank you. So I wanted to offer this as a 101 intro or a suggestion or a launching pad of inspiration. It has to do with energy, frequency, and vibration. It has to do how thoughts are things. And what's happening every day in our life as we go about doing the things that we say we want to do or should do. And this opportunity, not only for anybody coming, but at least for me, is I think it's a two-way learning experience, because if you're going to be on the planet for any length of time, a lot can happen. And we're wanting to have the best lives ever. So it's just like a check-in to see, are we getting what we really want? What role are we playing in getting what we really want? And reminding ourselves of our power. And it would seem to sound woo-woo, airy-fairy. How can you prove this? But just through the dialogue that I want to create, through some of the, I guess I want to call them like little experiments, I wanted to invite fun, and I wanted to invite the conversation about we really are more powerful than we were taught, and we do manifest everything in our lives by thought, by word, and action, whether it's default or on purpose. We don't like to take credit for the default part, for the things that feel bumpy, but it is. And it's not to, it isn't a conversation or a unity circle invitation to speak at length about being a victim, but it's more about seeing where the mirror is in our own life, what we can do to be more aware of how we're being, and also to be a little more easy and gentle on ourselves, because the past is the past, and who we are becoming in this now is springboard to the future lady or man we want to be. So it's important to be as present now, but have a vision of that person we want to live into and be light with it, because we are creating every thought we think and every word we say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, when you come up with these concepts and everything that you're talking to us about today, and the things that you want to do in the Unity circle, what did in your life brought you the knowledge, brought you the knowing of what you're doing, of how you're doing this in this day, now time.
So ever since I was little, I had many types of metaphysical experiences. And over a course of a breath of a life, I can't say that I've worked diligently to be intuitive or psychic. But so many things happened in my life, whether they felt of a negative nature, and that is, and I mean from the invisible realm, or a positive nature, whether I saw my association with the thoughts and actions that led to those things that happened, whether I caused horrific things and have a judgment about it, or felt good things, regardless if I had proof of it. I've had like a lifetime of all these experiences. And I'm now really revisiting myself, how to be that vibrational match to intuitive ability. So it's on 24/7 if I wish it. It's on anyway, but being aware of it. And the other part is I was just drawn to different teachers that spoke like this throughout my life, whether it was in science or metaphysics. And some of them I met, and some of them I just haven't, but I've just studied and kept track. And whatever resonated that was uplifting and supportive, I gravitated to, because of my own family unit. Most of my life, and pretty much really all my life, they say they love you, but they think I'm whacked and crazy and unworthy, and don't have credentials. For example, like a sister with a PhD in computer sciences, or a brother making a particular paycheck and working a particular length of hours, and stayed at a business for 20 plus years. I don't have that. I've been the adventurer. I've been the questioner. I've been the person sometimes very silent and just allowing people to be, but it also sometimes got me into a lot of trouble because people were just thinking I'm like a doormat. And my own self too. Just,
But you know what? The kind of person that you are is usually who spirit chooses to share wisdom, because you experience things by things happening to you or doing things, or you've had personal experiences that you can draw upon, that you can actually help people with. And those are the kind of people that are chosen to share their knowledge, because they're out there, they're doing it, they've been there, they've done that. They understand where you're coming from. Their heart has compassion for whatever it is you're going through, because they've done it. And those are always the ones that are chosen to teach. So there's your credentials. They come from your heart. They come from spirit. You don't need a piece of paper. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you for saying that. And I'm coming to understand that more and more in my body, and in a cognitive way, where I would have discounted myself compared to people who I've admired before, who were like maybe at one time in life in my immediate social circles, who had credentials and who spoke, and they all were patting themselves on the back for different courses that they wanted to teach. And I did not have the confidence and wherewithal to voice up. But I'll share that in one of these groups, where I was kind of segueing out at one time to do one of my travels, and a shaman was visiting. I wish he had I wish our time had overlapped more, but he had come to visit this group and he was leaving. And I felt a little embarrassed, but I had just gotten there within 15 minutes and most of the group was still there. But he came into this room where I was, and as a conversation was supporting him out, he also took a look at me and said, would you move in a circle? Would you turn around for me? And, I didn't mean to be smart, but I said, well, all right, I'm open. I just kind of did it and and everybody was looking at me, like 16 people. And I did. And then he announced, this is your angel, and every group has one. And everyone didn't say anything. And a part of me in my head thought, well, I could have told them that, but they never seemed to give me the time of day. So it was kind of just for me a nice confirmation, but only one person brought it up very, very, just one time, like within a year, she brought it up, maybe a year and a half, she brought it up once. No one else ever said anything to me. So I appreciate your kind words. I'm coming to terms with, and as we're on this bridge of 3D to 4D, as we're on this bridge of knowing that we want more wondrous, harmonious events on this planet and in our own lives, that the leaders or the teachers or those who are way showers and light bearers and peacemakers are not necessarily going to have a lambskin on the wall or hiding in the attic of this PhD or 4 years of whatever that said, oh, you did all the homework, so you know it. I appreciate that. It's going to be people who are willing to open up in their vulnerability.
Life and is willing to walk the walk.
I can relate totally to what you just said, Ritza. Like, it brings out a whole story of mine. When I was younger, I literally did not I didn't finish the art school thing. I let myself just kind of, because of love and because of wanting to be accepted, the person that I was with didn't think that there wasn't anything out there for art, like that there wasn't any money behind it, and why bother do art school? And so, like, I totally and completely dimmed my light so that I would, and didn't finish the art school. But I went on for, I think, about 15 years, not doing my art, not doing what was inside me, not doing my passion. I didn't feel that I had the credentials to do it because I didn't finish the art school. And there was people around me. There was even people that were in my family that was one that had gone and done all the things, and they got all the credentials and everything. And they acted like they were better because they went and got the credentials. But yet what was inside me was actually there from the beginning. I didn't need to go to art school to bring out what I'm bringing out. But it took me the longest time to be able to actually accept the fact that I am a natural born artist and that I don't need to go get the credential kind of thing.
Right. That's what the new world is. That's a part of the new world. No more gurus. No more. You have to have a certificate. Your knowledge comes from within, and it comes from your higher self connection. And they will guide you to everything and anything that you need. And if you have chosen to help others learn and help them connect themselves to their higher self and realize what a wonderful being they are and that they can shine their light in the same way, then your guides are going to help you teach. They're going to help you share your wisdom, and so that they can in turn turn around and share their wisdom, because it's all about sharing and becoming one. That's what this new world is about. And it's not about anybody being better than anybody, or even if you are the one who's sharing the knowledge, that person can share knowledge with you that you didn't understand. So everyone is the teacher. There's no gurus, no
and everybody has their own little unique piece of the puzzle. Like there's no one person that has the same gifts in the same way as anybody else. Even if you put like a set of twins or quadruplets or whatever in front of you, and they all had like identical DNA or everything, each one of them has something different to bring to the world, and they only can do it in their own very special way. And so that's what's going to be happening now when the new energies are here, and we're like fully like vibrating at this speed of vibration where we're coming from our heart, and we're bringing out whatever it is that makes our heart sing. It doesn't matter. There's no right and there's no wrong way to do it.
You
And
notice
we all have
we
something.
did you notice when we had our meetings, we didn't say what is your credentials. We said what makes your heart sing. What is it
Yes.
you want to share?
Right.
Because that's all we care about. What is it you want to share? You know, any kind of love is amazing and beautiful.
It's so nice to hear you talk that way, number one. I find it really supportive. It's refreshing. It's not I don't know, like ego based. And it's very interesting because I was expressing to someone, and I'm trying to forget, maybe it was actually a well-known intuitive person, but whoever I was speaking this to, and when I was was noticing at my journey of like current times is knowing something a year and a half ago, but in my also farther history, I just was no good choices in terms of politics. But what I was noticing, whether I went down the science path, whether I went down a religious path, a spiritual path, an energy path, and I wasn't looking at extremes, but I was in terms of I believe this, so this is how it is. I would find a natural flow that everyone was saying. Really, this particular theme of what's going on the planet right now, and you have people with basically either life skills. Some have the credentials. Some have all these vast backgrounds of some in years and some in lesser years. You know, some with 30 years and some with maybe 8 years or whatever it is.
Years.
So,
you know,
and that's what I was gravitating to for me in my own resolve, in my own because I don't have anyone in my immediate circle here to talk to. It's like the internet people, the YouTube people are becoming like my friends and my family, even if we're not like, if they like really don't know me because they're over in Ireland or England. But it's like, well, I got to turn in today because that's a person I like to hear because I have no support here. So YouTube, digital warriors or I'm going to say leaders or unity leaders or hosts, you have become my family and my friends. Otherwise, I would be like, I have no friends here.
oh, we love you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
And I also want to say too, that we're not putting down people who have credentials and who has taken the time to get the knowledge and get certified stuff, because I got stuff that I was certified for, but then I also have stuff that Spirit taught me. It's all the same. It's all beautiful. It's all loving, and it's all accepting. Doesn't matter which way you came across the knowledge.
yeah, the educational system, we know it is going to shift and change. It cannot stay the same the way this is. The hoops you go through and the lies that are there, and I feel like it's, I have this little idea of it's going to be more like, even though it could have still been tainted. Like, when my idea of when Socrates and these folks in their togas were teaching and everyone's outdoors as much as possible, and they're having conversations. It's not just like my idea is there's more conversation rather than I'm teaching you this and just learn it so you can take a test and pass and
Those
pass
were
on
my
that.
favorite. When I was in school, I loved history, and I also loved classes but it was the teacher. I realized is a teacher would bring up conversations and wanted to listen to everyone's opinion about what happened and what went down and all that. So it just depends on the host, and if the host is open enough to allow people to speak their truth too and share. And I think that's important.
Of
One
course,
thing I found that was really sad because I would take my son to secondary school this year, and we went to go inspect the school and just kind of see he had a choice of two different schools to go to, and it was like, which one will we choose, kind of thing. And when we went into there, I remember it was like an open night, and it was last year, last September or something like that. And we went through, and they were doing a great job, telling us all about like what they do and everything. But every time I started asking questions, it was like they only do things to teach to the test. It's like we're only going to teach your child exactly what's on the test. And like for instance, we went into the art room, and my husband and I are both artists, and we both like and we really wanted. We know our son has artistic abilities, so we were trying to like what was the program, like what were they going to be teaching, and our teacher said, well, they're not doing any of the stuff that they did when we were younger. Like they're not doing any of that, and not getting them ready for like the world or anything like that. All they're doing is what's on the exam at the end, like the end exam, and that's all that they're teaching. That's all they're required. And I walked out of there kind of sad. I was just kind of thinking, they're still doing it. Like I thought that we were kind of coming into a world where we were going to start changing the way that we teach our children, but they're still doing it. They're still teaching to pass the test.
There's a professor of well, he was at a local university that I was befriending a little bit, and of course, since with all this happened, we haven't talked because it became obvious that we're very on opposite spectrums of beliefs around this whole political climate here. But he was expressing that it's a very tight guideline to what the professors have to stick to, or they will get reprimanded by their chairs. They could get fired, lose their jobs. And it made it was very interesting. I didn't know then, but of course it makes sense now because depending who the university is controlled by, who are the trustees or founders, and then that control mechanism triggers into then the president and all the people at the top, and then down to the professors and the books that are offered, which are true. Most of the information is 51, let's call it just 51, it could be more, but 51% a lie in every single subject across the board. So, and it's old information. If you're in school, knowledge, I can't say it, technology school, information that you're.
I will say that since our children's school switched over to computers and laptops instead of books, and because they could keep up with the information, because whatever new comes out, they can then bring that new information in. So I think they do a better job if it's a school that is has technical technology and stuff. Anyway, so our school, it does keep up with that, and it's in a smaller town, so I'm surprised that they even have that. But I know that they have been doing a better job with truth, a little better.
Well, I'm just.
Yeah, the only thing is that I know the elementary teachers, at least I went, and my niece there back in September, she just became a third grade teacher in New York State. And I went to her classroom, and I was looking at things, and she was showing me all around and stuff. And she was showing me like exactly what they have to teach. And everything is verbatim. Like they literally have today, September 8th or October 8th, we have to do this, and this is everything that needs to be talked about that day, and that's it. And you can't go off the script.
It's all controlled.
And I said to her, so then we went around the room, and she had brought in a whole bunch of books. And she goes, oh, this is my little library for my children. They can have these books. And I said, oh, do you get to read to your children? She goes, oh, there's not enough time to do that. I can't read to them. And I was thinking to myself, when I was a child in third grade, I remember my teacher sitting at the desk, and we put our heads down, and we would sit there at quiet time. She might turn the lights down or whatever, and she would read for like 15, 20 minutes, and like all kinds of books, like Charlotte's Web. And
yeah, I remember Charlotte's Web was one.
And I said to her, she goes, no, there's not enough time to do that. So if the kids want to read, she can put the books on the side, and if they can grab one and take one home with them or something, but they can't do it in school because they're so regimented.
Yeah, it's not the same
thing. That's what we're here for, though. We're teaching, or we're learning the new way of sharing knowledge, and this is why we're creating this. and eventually, hopefully, it'll trickle down to people who want to do some unity circles with children. And I do have some people that I know that do classes with children, spiritual classes. And so eventually we'll have that. It'll just all trickle down into what it should, what the world is creating into a new, beautiful way of sharing knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going there. We're doing it. That's what we're doing here. And it's exciting and fun.
It'll be interesting too as we become more comfortable with our phones, and not that we aren't, but even more and more comfortable in developing these sharing and programs or connections, that there's somebody in Italy doing this, there's somebody in France doing this, maybe
Yeah,
they even call it the same thing, or something like that, which will be really.
When we had guidance for this, they told us that there will be other places, and they will be our sister and brother pages or groups. So they'll be doing the same thing, and that will eventually connect together. So and share back and forth. So it's all starting. We're not the only ones. I'm sure there's many other ones starting all over the globe.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
I admire that both of you are, it seems much, I'm going to stumble over the words. So you're in some ways to me like so much more connected as a channel with your guides and your everyday channel. Like it's like the phone is on and you got it. And sometimes I feel like for me, like my feeling in my body will tell me if I'm supposed to do something or not. And my head will war with that thing that doesn't feel right to do or say no to, or to tell a person no.
You know what you're explaining?
I'm sorry?
You're explaining your heart talks.
Mm-hmm.
Your heart says your feeling. Your heart knowledge is your feeling. So your heart knows the truth and knows the way, but your ego will get afraid and they'll say, well, you probably shouldn't do it because you should do this or you should do that. So
Or
when
maybe I'm not doing it correctly, or I need to go.
or I'm not good enough.
Validate it or something. Yeah, because a lot of people are like that when they're first getting going, and I was like that for years and years, up until I had my first QHHT session in 2018, and then even after I was told that I was fully and completely connected to the divine higher self source or whatever that I am connected to. Then even for like a year, I still didn't, I guess I didn't fully believe, because then I had another session like a year later. And in that session, I was then validated all the things that I was being told were actually right. And that I was, and so then after that, I said, okay, you got to stop questioning, Robin. You got to stop. You got to know that you are getting the information. It's coming through you. And just know and trust that you're being given the right information, and your heart will know if it's not right, if it doesn't feel right. And so I stopped going around and trying to validate it and trying to like see if it was the same as what somebody else is getting through and everything like that. And I think now you're seeing, it's only been a couple of years, that I'm now confident in what's coming through. And that's what you're saying. You're getting the same information. It's just that you have to come to terms with it in a way. Like eventually you will come to terms with it and say, okay, yeah, this is the information that I'm being given, and it is coming through me, and I'm going to trust it, and just really trust that your higher self, your guides, and will give you the right information.
Thank you.
Inspirational word.
Yeah. It's true. And we all struggle with that. It's just what we all do. But what we have to realize is that our emotions are our barometer. Our emotions tells us whether we're in the light or out of the light. If we feel sad, where did our thoughts go off track? You can backtrack it, bring it back into the light. So that's a gift from God. That's to help us to know when we're connected and when we're not connected. Because if we're feeling good about our thoughts, then that means we're having benevolent thoughts. But if we we move it away and we start feeling sad and upset, then we know that we've gone off track somewhere.
Or get triggered. So there's times where I'll get triggered by something or somebody outside of me will all of a sudden trigger me, and I'll be like, oh, and I'll start getting like, what's going on there? And first I'll be getting kind of upset. Like lately, I've been getting really upset and irritated by this policing that everybody seems to be doing. Everybody's policing everybody. And I've had, in the last week and a half, I've had 2 people police me over stupid things. And I'm just kind of like, listen, people, like, calm down. There is more to the world than like worrying about whether you have your phone in the changing room and you start talking on it. You know, and so I don't know. I think that we get triggered. But when we get triggered like that, then you have to look at it and think, okay.
You have to look inside, because there's something inside you that it hit.
Yeah, there's something there. Like, I'm going to have to face something. It's something about policing. It's something about this, like, pointing out to somebody. Because I probably do it to other people and without even thinking about it.
What you guys are saying, and I apologize, if you want to finish your sentence, I'm
no, you're
sorry.
good.
I find that when I'm feeling insecure or have a belief, and I may not know it as in the front, but it's somewhere in me, the person or people come along to either soothe or validate in some way that more confidence or that whatever I need to get out of me. And I mean, like, so in terms of even like intuitive, like sometimes I ask and sometimes I don't. But I ask this, can I go to the store without my mask? Am I going to have a problem when I go in? And I get yes or no. And if I ask a better question, which I'm not always good at, but if I ask a better question, I really get the most clearest answer. I do this for my pets. I can do it for my pets, but sometimes I can't do it for the bigger, more sensitive things in my life at this moment. But I just wanted to say that, yeah, there's an African proverb I've always liked, which says, if there's no enemy within, there's no enemy without. And I recently got bumped off of Uber as an Uber driver. So I haven't had any money coming in. And I know that there was a part of me that worried about not wearing a mask. But I still would ask people, where are you on the mask? You don't have to wear your mask if you don't want to. Do I have to wear my mask? And some people would say, oh, no, you don't have to. And of course, I was probably getting booted off because I wondered if they were telling the truth, which ultimately, whether I gave 400 people a ride, there was 10 people that said she didn't wear a mask. And of course, the current climate is get her out of here. And I had to look at that and say, okay, so I'm the attractor. I'm not a victim. Perhaps the bigger picture is that don't worry about the dollars right now. Put your time into your art. Put your time into feeling me deeper, trusting, allowing so that I can receive, and also inviting like a conversation like this in for support, because if we're the creators of reality, and that's part of what my talk is going to be about, this 101 experience, it's really just not blaming or anything, but looking at the whole stuff, even that you're going through, like Robin, and just looking at it and saying, what part of me is really mine to own that I'm clearing up, or what part of me is someone has to go first and I'm willing to go first and be an example.
Yeah. Well, that's just the whole new world we're in now, is just learning tolerance for each other, learning to have compassion and love for each other, looking at it looking above the situation and looking at all pieces of it instead of just deciding one person is wrong and one person is right. So I mean, it's all about, trying not to judge people, going within your heart and looking in a place of truth.
And the new way of manifesting as well is changing, totally different. It's kind of like everything is falling away on us, like with the way that we used to do everything. Our jobs and everything is like falling down. And like you lost your Uber position, I lost my my pottery business that we were doing classes and stuff like that. One thing I learned throughout this whole thing is that if you do what makes your heart sing, and you just keep going and you just keep creating and keep moving forward with what's being put in front of you, what you're being shown, that the universe will always have your back. You will not like be abandoned. You will not, I know it'll feel like it sometimes, but you will not be abandoned, and you will always have whatever it is you need. Might not always be what you want, but you will always be supplied with what you need. And it not will not always come in the way, shape, or form that you thought it was going to come in. It could come in a totally different way. So that's what I've learned through this whole
Yeah,
thing.
and to look at abundance coming in different ways. It doesn't have to come in money. It could come in love. It could come in support. It could come in many. There's just many different ways it could come in. You know,
Mhm.
Well, the
open
other
the doors to all abundance. All abundance.
Without expectation. I think it's like manifesting. Basically, if you give through the heart, this is what I've learned. If you give through the heart, fully through the heart, without expectation of what you're going to get back for it, then you will end up opening the doors to pure manifestation. What you get back will be like, it doesn't always come in the form of like the way you think it will be, but it'll show up in ways, and you'll always be taken care of. That's what I've learned.
Yes, I'm feeling that, and you're triggering, or you're. So this morning I was going back into some of the peoples and situations that I would take bits of for my topic, and I wanted to look back at Bashar, the channel Daryl Anka, and I wanted to go back and check a little bit about the laws of the universe that his entity talks about, and then I was looking up. I knew there were at least 12 universal laws that sort of break down the 4 or 5 that Bashar talks about. But then I also saw 21 universal laws, and I went to look at that. And so, as you're speaking, it reminds me of this. So, a thing may not happen. A thing may not happen right away that you're truly needing to get somewhere. But what I find is that other connection, or that even could be a greater thing right away, but everything adds up to what it is you ultimately want. And there's a period of incubation. The period of incubation, meaning you're putting out all these, you're giving, or you're giving away money, or you're just being generous, and you're not qualifying it. In other words, it's not a random act of kindness bumper sticker on your car. It's you're just doing it because kindness is innately you. It's a practice. It's like brushing your teeth. It's just you just do it because it enlivens you, and it's just pieces of piece of who you are. So there's an incubation period of, I want this big thing over there and I'm not quite there. Well, you're going to have it, and probably even better, but there's this piece of your own believability and having a rich life experience on the way. So maybe it didn't happen in 3 months, but it's going to happen in a year and a half. And just keeping open with all those beautiful ways that you are, it happens. And then it seems like it's happened overnight. And also with our words, we just forget, we don't speak enough that way, or silently just keep vibing that it's there, it's there. And I'll use myself that it's very likely I kept checking for the growth, maybe, or that in the segue of things not happening, there was other growth going on that I couldn't see until maybe now, or 3 weeks from now.
Things behind the scenes, they call it.
Things behind the scenes. And I am reminded of this one thing that's really cool. And there are several other truthful analogies, but a bamboo tree takes 5 years to grow. And when you put the seed in the ground and you water it and cover it, and maybe you mark it off, that's where the tree is. You see nothing. You see nothing for 5 years. There is no green. There is no fuzz. There is no leaf. There is nothing. And you got to say, oh, it's a nice day. You're going to be fine. Oh, there's a lot of weather. I'm going to protect you. The 5th year, then the week, just after that 5th year, the bamboo tree will start to spout and grow 90 feet, its adult height, within 6 weeks. But you
Wow.
see nothing for 5 years. For 5 years, you see nothing, zero. And you have to have the farmer, faith and trust. You're doing all the right things. It's too hot, you protect it. Too cold, you protect the ground. Make sure no one digs it back up. You didn't grow. It's been 3 months. What's up? You didn't, you just had the faith. That's where it is. And you're going to have this result. So I'm probably guilty of going, it didn't come. What am I doing? I don't know enough. I stopped. I did a little bit. I went backwards. I got whatever. I worried about money. I worried about
Yeah, we don't do that.
whatever.
Yeah, that's human traits. We all
You
do
know,
that. We're all human.
and so it's like having these groups to encourage and remind ourselves, what are we speaking? And if we need to stick up little sticky notes and like I believe what I'll say, like I'm not at this moment, I'm not gorgeous. I mean, and I'm not in gorgeous stuff. But
Don't
I
mind
can,
them. You're gorgeous.
You are.
but I can say I'm cute. I can say I'm cute. I'm cute. But
I always say that too. I'm not that gorgeous. I would never be like model material, but yeah, cute.
and you can say even once in a while, you can look at me and go, you know what? I am kind of gorgeous. Well, there may be someone more gorgeous, but I am kind of gorgeous. You can have a little fun with it because you know you're super cute. You're like a little chicken come up out of the egg. I'm super cute. And you can have some fun with that.
So that's learning to love yourself unconditionally in any way you look. Learning to just be okay with who you are, being comfortable in your own skin. That's a lot to do with all of your growth too, because it all comes from accepting and not judging yourself, and that makes it easier for you to not judge others when you're more loving and accepting to yourself. I think. And also, when you manifest something, if you don't put a limit on it, if you just say, Spirit, give me what I'm thinking of or better, it's always better. It's always 10 times better than what you think. Yeah.
You're reminding me too. I used to do this. I've gone through different practices, and some of the older things in my tool chest that bringing back out. But one of them was from Louise Hay, who since died a few years ago, but she was considered a leader in affirmation and manifestation. And her life didn't start out doing what she was doing. In fact, she had money problems as well when she was trying to do this business. But she attracted an accountant who helped her. No, this is what you need to do, and you're gonna be fine now. You're gonna grow. But she would say, like, do mirror work, and she would say,
Yes.
tell you,
I
I love you.
I think we all did that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's important to go back to certain things. Like we've all had little stuff we've done, and I feel like I'm back looking at some other pieces, other tool, I call them like tools in the toolbox to pull back out. And then there's some newer stuff that's come to me that now I'm going to designate my time and do. And the thing that you're also bringing up for me is in terms of doing that is I like to getting up early enough if I can, which I need to get up even earlier. But there's a golf club near me. I'm not a member, but I've certainly been there for different things. And it's pretty. It's a pretty place. And I look out at the vistas, and there's a reservoir. And here in New England, of course, the leaves are changing. But what I was reminded as I spoke to God or spoke to universe, I could see, and one of the things that happens to me is I see the pixels. I see energy fly through the air. These dots of how the universe is really made up of. And sometimes I see it, as if you're looking at an old television set or a movie theater screen that's gone haywire, and you see all the dots flying everywhere. I see that. And I've seen it in various amounts. But whenever that comes to me and I see them a lot, as if they're very deep or just many flying through, little fairies or angels, you can call them too. I'm reminded that I'm part of this source, this infinite intelligence. I am presence, God, whatever, the one being that we're all from, and that I can manifest through this infinite intelligence. And so stop worrying, because I can see these things. And there are the people who are too busy and they don't see these things. And then I did one of the energy exercises that I would do in the talk on the 15th, I would do like the energy ball exercise that you might have done before, because it really is. And it's amazing to be reminded that around us is this field of energy that we come from, and that's how it draws the stuff that we make in our
Absolutely.
world.
Absolutely.
So,
Well,
you know,
Lisa, this has been a very, very nice conversation, and we are so excited about seeing you in the future doing um, your Unity circle. But it's kind of coming to a close at our time here for the interview.
yeah.
And do you have anything else to say, Robin, before we? Is there
Yeah,
anything
well,
announcements or anything?
I put into the comments, I put Rita will be offering an everyday magic unity circle on October 19th at 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. GMT is London, Ireland time. And we'll be putting that up as an event in the New Earth Ascending Consciousness group. And hopefully, if you would like, come on. If you really like the conversation that we had here with Ritza today, and she's going to be bringing in some really, I think the energy that she's bringing in is going to be really, really cool. And I'm interested. I'm going to go to it.
It'll be lots of fun.
And so we're going to be there. We're changing the day. We're going to try, because some people, we've been doing our unity circles on the weekends. And so we thought we would change it up and try a weekday and see how that goes. So if you are unable to come to the unity circle live when we're doing it, there'll be a replay that we'll be putting up on our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to view it after it's all over with. So whether you're able to come live or not, you'll still be able to attend the Unity Circle when it's happening. And that's for all of the ones that we're doing in the future.
Yay.
We're excited to see you all there.
Thank you. I'm excited to be a part of this really expanding and unfolding group, and I'm excited to have an opportunity to connect with people from everywhere and invite the conversation.
Thank you so much for coming today and speaking with us.
You beautiful cute being that you are.
I was really scared to talk with you both. I just didn't know what was going to happen. You know, if I was going to have my I's dotted and T's crossed. So
it's all general. It's all natural.
We're not about any kind of formalities around here. We're all about just what comes to your heart and the true person that you are. We're not looking for anybody but who exactly you are. That's like when my son went to school and he was like, how am I supposed to act when I go in there? And I'm like, you're supposed to act like yourself. And everybody will love you no matter like who you are. If you, whatever you are, just come the way you are. We'll always accept everybody in our circle.
Oh, well, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. And yeah, this is good.
Okay, so it's bye for now. We'll see everybody back in a couple of hours.
Bye-bye.